What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. I guess this would be episode 3 of Dailyspence, which, ironically or not, coincides with episode 3 of the esports narrative. Just got done recording it. You'll hear about that in a minute. But what did I do today? Work was pretty productive. Busy day. A lot of calls, like up and down. A lot of issues here and there. Like solid day. Got a lot done. Productive. Um, and then with the podcast, I didn't get a chance to really DM a lot of people today. I made some connections. I made one really big connection, which you'll hear about in a second. I'll cut that little video in. But I recorded an interview tonight. You'll hear about that in a sec. Just running a podcast. Just learning what that even means, what that is. I'm 3 episodes in, and it's a grind. Like, there is a lot of potential, and the amount of content that I want to produce is ridiculous. And I can't do it alone, but I'm doing what I can right now, and I'm really focused on creating a really good podcast, really good content, getting really good guests in. So that's what I'm focused on. It's really hot in my office. The fan going. It's like really hot. But it was really good. I'm super stoked about today. It's just a really good amount of work. Started about 8 o'clock. It's now 11:30. Gonna tie up some loose ends and stuff. We'll try and get to bed by midnight. Get some sleep. I was up till like 2 last night. I was dead. Like, I really need to get a good 6 hours of sleep. I got like 4 last night. So there's that. Just something I really learned from the podcast today, the guest that I interviewed, was the process. Like, it's so important to the process and being humble. Like, it's so important to not like pretend in front, and like, it's so important to just be who you are and be okay with that, and be okay with not knowing everything and not having all the answers. It's okay. Like, it's humans. It's who you are. It's real. It's raw. It's what's attractive to people. So it's really important to just be yourself and not waver from that, and not front and not pretend, particularly in an industry that you're just getting into, like with esports. Like, I don't know anything about esports. Like, I played video games growing up, but as far as the industry goes, like, I'm nothing. I'm nobody. So it's important. And the guest tonight remind me that you gotta stay humble and really respect the fact that even as you gain experience and exposure and wisdom and recognition and you know awards or whatever it is, even when you get accolades and success in something, it's always important to remind yourself to stay humble and remind yourself that you can always do better, you can always learn more. And I think that's just such a big part of it, and just loving the process of the day in, day out work that it takes to get to where you want to go. Like, have your North Star right here. Have your North Star, your end goal, like where you want to go, and reverse engineer like some major things that you need to put in place to get there. That's what I'm doing with my podcast. Is like, I love security. I love what I do. I love the people I work with and where I work. It's great. I love what I'm creating there as far as the security program goes. But long term, like, what I want for my legacy is not that. It's going to be esports, and it's going to be owning my own organization. My podcast that I'm creating is a pillar for me to build a team around myself, create like a media company around myself, so I have the infrastructure and the people and the resources built up around me, so that when I transition to an org or I buy a team, I have everything all in place. I just literally flip the switch, turn them on, reposition, tweak some things, and we're off to the races to some extent. Obviously, there'll be a learning curve and trips and falls and stuff like that, but you take it as it comes. What's up, Instagram Live? Just recorded an interview, episode 3, uno, dos, tres. Episode 3 of the esports narrative. Heard from a photographer, talked about what his esports narrative was. I just want to thank you so much for being a guest on the show and sharing your esports narrative with all the listeners. And with that, I just want to remind everyone that if this all goes as planned, this show is just the beginning. Just talking to him on Skype. Send me some links for some sweet stuff he linked in the show. Talked about I do a best play section of the show, and he was talking about this match. It was SFV. It was Infiltration versus Taquito at CEO 2016, I guess. He said it was freaking intense. It was a sweet play. He was telling me about another one at it was Echo Fox Taquito versus PG Punk. He said that one was really sick too. Like, the crowd was hyped. The event was just, everything was awesome. But yeah, this guy's awesome. The value that was dropped in this episode, like, I don't remember what mark it was at. It's like 18 minutes or 30 minutes. I don't know what it is, but you'll see it in the show notes. Just the straight wisdom of someone who actually gets it, who's been in the industry for a while, knows what he's talking about. You can tell his passion for what he does. It's just awesome to see. It's inspiring. Like, I'm so fired up right now. It's like, it's almost 11 o'clock right now. I feel like I could stay up till 4 in the morning. It's just freaking amazing. That was my favorite episode so far. I've only done 3, but it was awesome. Big news. I've got... I just found out tonight that I locked in a huge guest. Another huge guest, I'll say. Thanks for following. I really appreciate everyone's attention and the views. I got like 6 views or something. Like, I appreciate the heck out of those 6 views, like, so much. Your word of mouth is amazing. I haven't officially launched my podcast yet, but when I do, I just know that I'm so appreciative of all the likes and the comments and the follows and the shares. It just means the world to me. Your word of mouth is amazing. It's so supportive. I just can't thank you enough. I'm doing this for the community. I'm doing this for our community as much as I'm doing it for myself. As you'll hear in this episode 3 of the podcast, I go into that a little bit towards the end of why I'm doing it. I'll share some of that content, but it's bigger than just me. It's gotta be. It always is. It's, your passion is, I believe people have passion because it's, to some extent, it's larger than themselves. I really believe that. So, with that, wish you guys well. Have a great freaking week. The rest of your week, have a great Friday. Work hard. Do what you love. Go after it. All that motivational, hypey stuff. And if all goes as planned,